Hi, welcome. It's Rebecca Allen here from Illuminate Personal Growth. I'm absolutely delighted to have you here. We're talking today about your self-critical voice. So if you have, sort of high self-expectations, you're really hard on yourself, maybe, you're a bit of a perfectionist, and these things are all sort of tied in together. And I was thinking about how to sort of bring this idea to life today about sort of being hard on yourself and how we women as just sort of, have this sort of ability to sort of just be hard on ourselves all the time. And I was thinking about a story that I could share with you to bring this idea to life. And it made me laugh, actually. I was thinking about it driving along this morning, about when we decided to make the decision to get some bunk beds for our children. So, our children had been talking, they're 4 and 8, about having this bunk bed. And how they could have these lovely story times together, on one bunk one day and then another bunk the next day, and how they could kind of create little caves and they could put their sort of blankets up and make it all dark on the bottom bunk. And I was thinking at the time, there are wonderful reasons, really wonderful ideas why you would have bunks, but it's also space saving. It kind of creates this play space for them as well as having the bed. So practical, being such a practical mum. So we got these bunks. And I was thinking on sort of, I think it was week 5 or something, when I'd changed these sheets already, 5 or 6 times by then. The bottom bunk's fine, right? But the top bunk, my goodness, it's such a headache. You have to go up to the stairs, and then you kind of have to get these fitted sheets over the corners of each of the mattress. I don't know if you've ever done it, but it's an absolute hoo-ha. I mean, fitted sheets at the best of times are a bit of a hoo-ha. But I was thinking, doing this, I was getting really cross about it and really fed up with it. And I was thinking all the time about all the other things I had to do, the list of stuff that I had to do for my work. And I was thinking, I've got this production schedule I need to finalize, I need to film certain videos for our courses, I need to speak to certain clients. I was sort of getting overwhelmed with this huge list of stuff I needed to get done. And then I stopped, maybe on the 3rd corner or something, and I was thinking to myself, you know what? There is more to life than just all that work stuff. And, these are little wins too. This is a little win right now. I'm making the bed for my beautiful 8-year-old daughter. And I was remembering all those emotional reasons why we wanted to buy these bunk beds in the first place. Those little sort of parties where they're going to sit together and play together and have story times together. And that is a massive win in itself. I'm creating this beautiful environment for my children to have this beautiful experience. And I think, we get sort of so caught up in only the big wins being important and having value, and forgetting all these little things actually matter. Not only do they matter to you, but they matter to the little people around you, and also sometimes the big people around you too. So I think, we're having this kind of human experience here, and the big things and the small things have value, they matter. And I think we're always sort of focused on success being about making these big things happen, and actually day-to-day little wins are just as equally important as those sort of those bigger wins. So I was thinking about how it is and why it is that so many women struggle with this concept of only sort of seeing these real huge impossible things, impossible expectations as being the big wins and making that happen. And I think it comes from 2 sort of influences. I think a lot of women have this experience that they come through school and they're, really motivated and enthused about getting those A grades, those B grades, those A stars, and sort of seeing success as that, it's kind of getting these amazing grades all the time. And then you, of course, leave educational experiences and you don't get that sort of accolade when you start working. You don't get those regular sort of inputs where people are saying, actually, you're doing a great job, unless you seek them out, of course. But people just don't instinctively think to do that. So we have this kind of like pressure always to kind of perform and to excel and to achieve. And I think then that coupled with, in adult life, women are pressurized massively by media, massively so. And I don't know if you're aware, but women make most of the buying decisions in households. So it means that a lot of advertising is targeting women, even if the product is not for a woman themselves, but the actual targeting is for women, women's eyes, because they want you to then consume the product, to buy the product. But of course, the media has a credible ability to make you feel like you're not good enough. because that's why you need the product. They're basically saying to you, you've got this huge problem, you know, you're too fat, or you're, you know, not pretty enough, or you're too wrinkly, or your hair's not the right color, or whatever it is. But they're basically saying, you know, you need our stuff to make you feel good, to make you look good, to make you be good, which of course is nonsense. But that is the pressure, that is the reality that so many women find themselves in the modern world. We have this kind of childhood pressure to perform and to be seen to be doing a good job. And then we have this kind of media pressure that we have as adults, which is saying, unless you're doing all this stuff, you're just not good enough, you're not making the grade, you're not right up there. So there's this constant thing that women are dealing with where they're feeling like they have to do a better job. They have to, you know, feel better and be better and do more and achieve more and in a faster time and, you know, and achieve more and just be better than you are right now. There's always this pressure. And I think, you know, that's exhausting, that's draining. And, you know, do we really need that? Do we really need that in our lives? Probably not. So what I wanted to share with you today, I am actually going to use the whiteboard at some point. It's sort of just sitting there behind me, but I am actually going to use it. I'm going to use it right now just to kind of elaborate this point a bit more. So if you do feel like you're hard on yourself, you're self-critical, you have the kind of like little voice in your head that's constantly pushing you and telling you need to be better, have a think about why that thing's there in the first place. Does it have a positive purpose? It actually does have a positive purpose, which I'm going to share with you in a minute. But I'd love you to have a think about the strategies I share and think about how they could apply to you. Adapt them so that you can apply them to your own circumstances, your own situation. So the first strategy I'd love to share with you is simply this, just to set yourself more realistic expectations. So number one here is set realistic expectations. Ask yourself, you know, it's all very well having this really important objective that I've got to deliver on, but is it realistic? Can I do it in the time frame? Can I do it with the resource that I have? Do I need to ask for more resource? Do I need to ask for more people to come and work with me in this team? Do I need to ask for more money to come and make this thing happen? Because if you don't ask for resource, you do not get it. So ask yourself, is it realistic? If it's not realistic, what do I need to change? The second strategy I want to share with you is this idea of data. How much information is necessary to make the decision? So, how much data? How much information is enough for you to actually make the decision and move forwards and take action? Because if you're a perfectionist, there's always more data that you want. There's always more information you want to accumulate. There's always more stuff that you need to feel secure, to feel safe, to feel certain, and to feel the control that you're looking for so hard to actually just take that first step and move forwards. How much data is enough for you to make that decision to move forwards and take that first step? It's probably nothing more than you've got already in that huge treasure trove that you're carrying around full of data. So be kind to yourself. Ask, how much more do I need? Have I got enough? I think I've probably got enough by now. Okay? So from those two strategies, I'd love to share with you three simple sort of mindsets, if you like, three simple ways in which you can move forwards from this. So the first one is this. Every single day is progress. Every day is progress. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you're learning. Every single opportunity is a means to grow, to develop, to learn. Even mistakes are progress. Even the mistakes that your teammates make are progress. You know, if you're worried about delegating and giving people the role to kind of move forwards and take off sort of tasks from you, that's the delegation side, and you're worried about them making mistakes, just take this note as sort of a piece of help for you, piece of advice. Every single step, every single mistake is progress. It's all the learning. We're having this beautiful human experience where we aren't perfect. We haven't got all the answers, but we still have to move on. We still have to make things happen. So just accept that that's the way it is and look at it as a kind of a helping piece of information, some helpful feedback for you. Everything's progress. The second piece of information and second piece of advice is this one. You're doing the best that you can with what you know right now. Okay? You're doing the best that you can with what you know right now. So this is the idea that, you know what, I am trying my best. I am trying my hardest. It doesn't always work out, but I am doing my absolute best. It's not easy. It's not straightforward sometimes, but I really am. I know that, I've got a limited amount of knowledge, experience in this area, and that's fine. And I'm doing the best that I can with what I know and my experience to date at the moment. This is a beautiful one to get into the habit of saying to yourself more regularly. And I really hope that you do that. The third and the final piece is this idea that this inner critic, this inner voice, is actually trying to protect you, is trying to help you. I know that might sound strange right now, but let me explain it in a second. So the inner critic. The inner critic helps you. It actually helps you. It stops you from sort of making gargantuan mistakes. Your inner critic is really there as part of your primitive brain. I'm going to just stand here so that you can see all of the aspects of my board there. The inner critic is really part of your primitive brain, and it's telling you to keep yourself safe. It's telling you that if you go outside, there might be a dinosaur, so just be careful, stay in the cave, stay safe, don't go out there, don't do it. And unfortunately, that little primitive brain is still there inside our human brain today, and it's still there telling you to stay safe, don't do something in case you fail, in case you make a mistake, in case something goes wrong. And that's wonderful, but all it does is it just stops you from taking that first step, from doing. So listen into your critical voice. Ask yourself, is that a berating, skeptical, unhelpful voice? Or is that an encouraging voice that is just saying, look, this is really challenging. I'm finding this really hard. You are having a human experience right now. Is it doing the skeptical thing, or is it doing this encouraging voice, tone of voice that is just saying to you, go and do it anyway. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. It doesn't matter if it's not completely right. Just go ahead and do it anyway. So hopefully you've learned some beautiful value from today, and you've got some experience and some ideas as to how you can start changing that critical voice and helping yourself, encouraging yourself just to take those steps. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be that end goal. It doesn't have to be about celebrating some massive success, so long as it's just you taking some action and enjoying every experience as you go. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I so look forward to seeing you again soon.